Okay, let's really unpack this because I
Yeah.
think it's a topic on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
We all see ChatGPT as this incredible reasoning engine, right?
Uh-huh.
It can generate, just about anything, complex text, code, logic.
It's phenomenal of that.
But
Yeah.
the real challenge, the one we're all bumping up against in the AI world today,
Mhm.
is how do you take that brain and make it a full-stack deployable AI platform? How do you make it genuinely, unmatched?
Yeah, that's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? And if you look at the source material we've gathered, the answer is, maybe surprisingly, accessible. It's all about connection.
Connection.
The transformation isn't about waiting for the next big LLM breakthrough. It's about linking that powerful intelligence we already have, ChatGPT, to the practical, physical, and digital world using this huge ecosystem of, and this is the key part, free external tools.
So we're not just looking at a conversational tool anymore. We're talking about building scaffolding around it.
Yeah.
It's like giving ChatGPT specialized limbs or sensory organs or even a better memory so it can operate in the real world.
That's the perfect analogy. This integration completely expands its capability beyond that chat box. You're unlocking these really complex outcomes. High-stakes research, large-scale file processing, complete automation workflows that can touch every part of a business.
And even building actual apps, right?
Exactly. Even the ability to create deployment-ready web and mobile applications. When you marry the superior reasoning of ChatGPT with tools that are optimized for, say, data handling or vector-based search or visual output, you get these multimodal agents and real production solutions. So our mission today is to move you quickly from this sort of theoretical hybrid idea to understanding the exact mechanics you need to build practical real-world agents for any domain.
That sounds like a powerful promise. So let's start with the foundation. The sources call it the hybrid agent model. I guess this defines the role for each piece in this new ecosystem.
It's the blueprint, exactly. This approach is a fundamental shift away from the idea that a single monolithic LLM has to do everything. The hybrid agent model relies on a really clear three-part structure, and it assigns tasks based on what each part does best.
Okay, so component number one is obviously ChatGPT. But if we're offloading all the perception and the action to other tools, what's its specialized role? What's left for it to do?
Its role becomes very specialized. It's the master orchestrator. It's the brain. ChatGPT excels at reasoning, at logic, instruction execution, and synthesis. It decides what to do, how to interpret complex instructions, and then how to synthesize all these different data points from the other tools.
So it's doing the deductive reasoning part.
Precisely. It's taking a large set of facts, which are provided by these external tools, and reaching a novel conclusion. That could be an executive summary, a legal verification, a whole strategic roadmap.
That makes a lot of sense. You're focusing it on the high-value cognitive work. Which, okay, brings us to the second component, which is just as crucial. The free AI tools.
Right. These are your perception, your automation, your deployment layers. They're the hands and eyes of the agent. They handle all the tasks that the big proprietary LLMs are either bad at or too slow at or, frankly, just too expensive to perform.
What kind of tasks are we talking about?
High bandwidth stuff. Transcribing an hour of audio, for instance, or reading text that's embedded deep inside a blurry image, or creating really complex visual assets. These tools pre-process the data into a format that ChatGPT can actually use, or, on the other end, they take the result of its reasoning and turn it into a physical or digital action. They're the specialist workers.
And component three is what connects the workers to the brain and to the outside world. APIs and workflows.
These are the bridges, absolutely critical. They enable the real-world functionality. It could be something as simple as a webhook connecting Zapier to the ChatGPT API, or something way more complex, like an integration that updates a specific field in a Notion database. This component is what closes the execution loop.
So the agent can do more than just talk. It can actually do things.
It can perform tasks. It moves beyond just generating text responses and into the operational, multi-platform world we all work in.
Okay, we have to pause here because I think the key strategic insight of this whole hybrid model is cost efficiency. If ChatGPT is so powerful, why not just subscribe to all its advanced features? Why add this layer of complexity with all these free external tools?
That is a brilliant question, and it really gets to the primary barrier for anyone trying to scale these systems. Cost. If you rely on a single LLM for everything, you hit astronomical token consumption really, really fast, especially with large inputs.
Can we quantify that? Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you need to process a 50-page legal PDF. If you just upload that entire PDF directly to an LLM provider, you're getting charged for every single token. We're talking maybe hundreds of thousands just for the model to read it.
That's an expensive way to inject context.
It's incredibly expensive. Now, let's look at the hybrid approach. You use a free tool, like Tesseract OCR, to extract the raw text. That costs you a little bit of processing time, but 0 tokens. Then you tell ChatGPT to perform its reasoning only on that abstracted text. Or even better, only on specific sections that a vector search tool has flagged as relevant.
So you're cutting down the token usage by a lot.
By maybe 99%. You're offloading all that high bandwidth, non-reasoning work. And that drastically reduces your operational costs. It makes solutions that were completely unfeasible financially, like high-volume document verification, suddenly practical and scalable for real-world businesses.
So the key isn't that the free tools are necessarily better than the LLM.
Not at reasoning, no.
It's that they are the cost-effective specialist for pre-processing. Okay, that brings us from the why to the how. We need the architectural blueprint. The source material outlines 5 specific architectural models that define how the data flows between these tools and ChatGPT.
And understanding these 5 models is absolutely essential. The architecture you choose dictates the tools you can use, the constraints you'll face, and really critically, the level of speed versus security you can achieve.
Let's start with Model 1 then, the entry-level one, manual file exchange.
This is the lowest friction, simplest way to do it. It's governed by the user. You, the human, act as the necessary middle layer. The concept is super straightforward. You process your data using a free external tool first, and then you manually feed that output to ChatGPT for the reasoning part.
No APIs, no complex setup.
None at all. Think about audio. ChatGPT can handle audio now, but sometimes the file size or the quality or just the sheer speed of a dedicated tool is better. So you use a free, powerful tool like Whisper. You run your audio file through it, get a high-quality transcript, and then you just copy and paste that text into ChatGPT for a summary or to extract tasks.
What are some other tools that fit here?
Tesseract, for pulling text out of a scanned contract. Or maybe you use Playground AI to generate the perfect image, and then you manually upload that image or the text description to the LLM for the next step. It's not automated, but for one-off tasks, it's quick and super reliable.
I can see the utility for single tasks, for sure, but it doesn't scale. So moving up the chain, we get to Model 2, workflow automation. And this is where the human layer starts to disappear.
Correct. Here, the external automation tools become the conductors. We're talking specifically about platforms like Zapier, Makeit, which used to be Integromat, or the open source option N8N. These platforms act as middleware. They sit there and monitor for triggers.
A trigger could be anything, right? A new row in a spreadsheet.
A new row in a spreadsheet, an email landing in your inbox, a specific customer interaction in your CRM, anything. And when that trigger fires,
the platform automatically calls the ChatGPT API with the data.
Exactly. For instance, an email body gets sent to ChatGPT with an instruction like, classify the intent of this email and draft a 3-sentence professional reply. The automation platform then takes that structured reply from the LLM and executes the final action.
Like sending the email automatically.
Sending the email or updating a specific field in a CRM or posting a summary to a team chat channel. The external tool manages both the start and the end of the process, completely eliminating the need for human intervention.
Okay, now, Model 3 is API integration. The sources suggest this is for highly structured data needs, which sounds a little different from workflow automation. Why the separate model?
The distinction really lies in the formality and the strictness of the data exchange. Workflow automation, like with Zapier, often handles conversational or maybe semi-structured data. API integration, on the other hand, is for systems where the data must conform to a predetermined schema.
So we're talking about a custom script or an enterprise application sending really specific complex data.
Exactly. Raw financial transaction logs or dense compliance figures. And the output demands are much higher.
What do you mean by that?
ChatGPT analyzes this highly structured input, does its complex reasoning, but the critical step is that it must return the output in an equally strict, structured format, usually a validated JSON object or a specific standardized table structure.
So no natural language in the response?
Absolutely not. The system might demand the output be a JSON block with specific keys, like contract-ID verification status and required follow-up. A natural language summary is totally unacceptable.
Which is essential if you're feeding that data directly back into, say, an ERP system or a financial ledger.
Precisely. This is for robust systems. Think automated tax data processing, updating sensitive fields in a CRM where data integrity is paramount, or legal document systems that need consistent, non-ambiguous data fields for compliance.
Okay, Model 4. This is one that comes up all the time. It's often seen as the most important for getting real-world reliability. Vector-augmented agents or retrieval-augmented generation.
This is foundational. It's the mechanism that directly fights LLM hallucination. It grounds the AI in verifiable truth. The concept relies on free and often open source tools like FEIs, which came out of Facebook, or Chroma. These tools are specialized databases.
But not for storing text, right?
Not for storing text directly. They store vector embeddings, which are numerical representations of text data.
Okay, we need a quick explain, like I'm fine on that. What is a vector embedding and why is it so much better than just a regular keyword search?
So think of a vector as a numerical address in a huge mathematical space. Every piece of text, a paragraph, a sentence, a legal clause, gets translated into one of these numerical addresses based on its meaning. This is what enables semantic search.
Okay.
A traditional keyword search might miss a document that talks about legal liability if it only uses the word indemnification.
Because the exact words don't match.
Exactly. But a vector search understands that legal liability and indemnification are conceptually very close in that semantic space. So when you ask the agent a question, ChatGPT queries the vector database first. It instantly pulls the most contextually relevant chunks of data, the grounding sources, from Face or Chroma.
And those chunks of text are then included in the prompt sent to ChatGPT.
Yes, the LLM uses that external, verifiable, grounded context to generate a highly accurate, citation-backed output instead of just relying on its generalized and possibly outdated internal training data.
So the key insight here is you're turning the LLM from a knowledge recall machine into a sophisticated reasoning engine that's processing validated external sources. This is a game changer for high-stakes applications.
It's the only way to build trust. For legal, academic, engineering, and medical systems where precision and source grounding are completely non-negotiable, you have to use RG.
Finally, Model 5, which tackles a critical challenge for everyone today: local agent integration. This is all about data privacy and data residency.
This architecture is the main pathway for any regulated industry. The idea here is to use tools like Ollama or LM Studio to host specific AI models, often smaller open source ones offline, running them locally on a secure server or even a powerful desktop computer.
But if ChatGPT has the superior reasoning, why bother running a local model at all?
The strategic insight here is all about compliance and risk management. ChatGPT still handles the overall complex system orchestration, the logic, the instruction flow. However, the local tools handle the actual processing of the highly sensitive data.
I see.
You can feed your confidential client files or proprietary research or protected health information to a model running securely on Ollama. This ensures that data never leaves your infrastructure, and it adheres to strict data residency requirements like GDPR.
So you're separating the proprietary brain, which is ChatGPT orchestrating the task, from the sensitive data execution, which is the local model.
Precisely. This lets large institutions in finance or healthcare leverage ChatGPT's best-in-class reasoning without violating strict data residency, privacy, or auditing rules. It fundamentally changes the risk profile. It makes AI accessible to whole industries that were previously barred by security concerns.
That roadmap is incredibly comprehensive. Now for the exciting part. We've defined the architectures. Let's dive into the practical, step-by-step use cases for specific free tools. We're moving from high-level models into actionable workflows.
Yes, let's start with one of the most transformative integrations, I think, because it deals with that messy, unstructured, raw input, audio processing using Whisper.
Whisper is known for its incredible accuracy, even with background noise. So how does a hybrid agent leverage that?
The workflow is really designed to maximize efficiency. It starts with your raw input, a long team meeting, a lengthy legal deposition, maybe a complex patient interview with a doctor. You run that raw audio file through Whisper.
And the output is just a clean text file.
A high-quality, often time-stamped transcript. That transcript, which is now just text, is then uploaded to ChatGPT. And this is where ChatGPT's specialized role comes in. It imposes structure and purpose onto that raw text.
What kind of instructions can you give it?
You can give it specialized tasks that would be impossible with just the raw audio. Review this 90-minute transcript, identify the 3 key decisions we made, extract all the action items assigned to specific people, and generate a brief executive summary prioritizing any risk areas.
The utility for high-stakes scenarios seems massive.
Oh, it is. You can turn hours of raw courtroom testimony into searchable, structured data. You can process detailed medical discussions to extract diagnostic pathways, or, just rapidly generate formalized meeting minutes from hours of casual conversation.
Okay, next, let's tackle the physical world of paper documents. Image to text using OCR tools like Tesseract or Paddle OCR.
This is all about digitizing legacy data or proprietary information that's just sitting in file cabinets. The process starts when you scan or photograph any physical document, a faded contract, a pile of handwritten receipts, a government notification.
And you run that image through an OCR tool.
Exactly. You can use Tesseract for simplicity, or if you have complex scripts or low-quality images, the open-source Paddle OCR is often more accurate and versatile.
And the result is machine-readable text.
That's the goal. You then feed that raw, extracted text into ChatGPT. Now, the real reasoning can begin. ChatGPT can analyze that text for specific compliance issues. It can compare key dates and terms against a centralized template or perform rapid categorization.
Like classifying receipts for an expense report system.
Perfect example. This is indispensable for digitizing old archives, processing complex, multi-page legal petitions, or just integrating handwritten notes into digital workflows.
Okay, moving into a more visual and creative space, let's look at design and branding, linking Canva with ChatGPT. This is a really fascinating fusion of logical instruction and aesthetic output.
It is. This integration lets the agent handle both the message structure and the visual medium. The workflow actually starts with the abstract. ChatGPT generates the core branding elements and detailed instructions. And this goes way beyond just simple text.
What else does it generate?
It can include a suggested visual hierarchy, layout instructions, specific color palette suggestions using hex codes, and even the required emotional tone for the design.
So ChatGPT is acting as the creative director, defining the entire brief.
Precisely. Canva then takes these detailed instructions. If it's automated, Canva's API can execute templated designs based on those parameters. If you're doing it manually, the user just pastes that highly structured instruction set into Canva's AI design tools.
And once the visual asset is created, a book cover, a YouTube thumbnail, you can close the loop.
Exactly. You feed the final asset and the original brief back to ChatGPT, and you ask it to review and improve the design copy. This ensures consistency across the text, the image, and the tone. And it delivers production-ready assets with minimal human iteration time.
Tool number 4. This one is focused on building the agent itself. Flowwise, for visual workflow building. We need to understand what a node is here and how it helps you build something complex.
Flowwise is the open-source visual architecture layer. It's so critical because it lets you bypass the need to write complex Python or JavaScript code to orchestrate everything. The workflow starts with ChatGPT writing the detailed, precise instructions for the agent's logic defining its role, the sequence of decisions it should make, and its constraints.
And Flowwise translates that narrative into a visual structure.
It does. In Flowwise, a node just represents a specific function. It could be a ChatGPT API call, a data input, a vector store lookup, or a complex condition like, if the sentiment is negative, then send an alert. You visually connect these nodes with lines to define the entire data pipeline.
So it's a drag and drop approach.
Exactly. And this makes it really easy to plug in advanced components, like specialized memory nodes that maintain conversation history, or dedicated vector search nodes, the RG component that can instantly query external knowledge.
And this dramatically simplifies managing complex branching logic that a raw ChatGPT API call might struggle with, right?
Absolutely. If a question needs knowledge retrieval and a logical calculation, Flowwise can manage that sequence perfectly. Once you're happy with it, you can deploy the visual pipeline instantly as a live, API-accessible chatbot or web interface.
What's the best use case for that?
It's perfect for creating complex knowledge systems, things like internal legal knowledge bases for a law firm, specialized course tutors for students, or advanced business Q&A agents that require reliable contextual retrieval and multi-step decision-making.
Okay, moving to what is really the backbone of a lot of operational work, external automation using Zapier.
Zapier is the definitive bridge to thousands of web services. It's what turns the LLM into a real-time operational tool. The workflow starts when Zapier receives a trigger, and this could be absolutely anything.
A new entry in a Google form, a new file in Dropbox.
A customer service ticket being opened in Zendesk.
Exactly.
Zapier catches the data, and then what does it do?
It packages the relevant content and sends it off to ChatGPT.
Right. It packages the form data or the email body or the ticket description and immediately sends it to the ChatGPT API for specialized processing. And ChatGPT's task might be classification like, is this a high-priority bug report or a feature request? Or it might be generation, draft a personalized follow-up email based on this lead's profile.
The real power comes in the next step, though, when Zapier executes an action based on that classification.
That's where the magic is. Zapier receives the structured output, often just a classification tag or a block of text, and then it executes the final action. It might send the auto-generated reply, update a row in a Google Sheet, categorize the ticket in Asana, or fire off a Slack notification to a specific team based on the priority that the LLM determined.
The applications for that seem boundless.
Oh, they are. Robust auto-reply systems, automated daily report generation from sales data, invoice extraction and classification, managed social media posting, the list goes on.
Next, let's talk about knowledge systems. Notion plus ChatGPT. For so many people and businesses, Notion is already the central repository of all their institutional memory. How does this linkage work?
This creates a synergistic, constantly improving organizational brain. The starting point is your structured data already living in Notion. Your research notes, project docs, meeting summaries, compliance files, all organized into databases. You grant ChatGPT access, and it retrieves that contextual content via an API call, specifically targeting relevant pages or database entries.
And ChatGPT's role is to leverage that specific private knowledge that it finds.
It elevates Notion from just a static database into a dynamic content engine. ChatGPT can transform scattered notes into cohesive, high-value assets. It can structure a bulleted list of ideas into detailed chapters for a book, or modularize complex research into digestible lessons for a course, or refine raw case notes into professional legal scripts.
And crucially, the workflow often updates Notion automatically.
Yes, that's the key. It updates Notion with the final structured output. This ensures the AI isn't just generating content in a vacuum, but it's actively refining and maintaining a single source of truth within your system.
This sounds vital for academic projects or any kind of large-scale writing endeavor.
It is. AI-powered school planning, writing a multi-volume book, complex legal case management where consistency is everything, and of course, deeply integrated personal knowledge systems all benefit from this constant feedback loop.
Finally, we have to discuss the full-stack vision, actually getting these hybrid agents deployed and live on the internet. Let's talk about deployment using Vercel and Hugging Face spaces.
This really completes the circle, doesn't it? A hybrid agent has to be able to serve users. The workflow leverages the LLM's surprisingly strong coding abilities. It starts with ChatGPT generating the front-end Commit HTML, CSS, or even production-ready React code for a complex web interface.
So we have the code. Where does it live?
You deploy that front end on a platform like Vercel. Vercel is famous for its speed and, importantly, its generous free tier, which makes it ideal for launching hobby projects and MVPs. Now, for the heavy lifting, the specialized AI components, like a fine-tuned sentiment analysis model or a specific image recognition model, you leverage Hugging Face spaces for that back-end AI component. They also offer extensive free hosting tiers.
And the Vercel front end just connects to the Hugging Face backend via an API.
Securely, yes. So you have the reasoning brain, which is ChatGPT, you have the live fast interface on Vercel, and you have the specialized AI tools running in the background on Hugging Face.
That's the entire stack.
That's the entire stack. It gives you a robust, cost-free, end-to-end stack for launching live AI tools, interactive educational portals, sophisticated web-based agents, or a minimum viable product for a startup, all without any significant initial capital expenditure.
We've established the individual power of these integrations. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we need to see how they stack up. It's not about using just one free tool, it's about chaining 4 or 5 of them together. Let's look at the integration recipes, how multiple free components combine to form a complex, high-utility agent.
Yes, this is where the true hybrid architecture is revealed. It moves beyond simple, single-task execution to building domain-specific systems.
Okay, let's start with a high-stakes, high-value example, recipe 1, the legal document verification agent. For this, we need accuracy, speed, and grounding in facts.
This requires a highly sophisticated stack, for sure. You're using OCR, probably Paddle OCR for accuracy. You're using the complex reasoning of ChatGPT. You need the verifiable memory of a vector store like Face or Chroma. And you need the visual management of Flowise to orchestrate it all.
Walk us through the data flow here. How does a document go from a physical photo to a fully verified report?
The flow is sequential and very structured. It begins with the image input, a photo of a signed contract. Step 1, OCR extraction. Paddle OCR pulls the raw text, and it's pretty good at cleaning up poor formatting. Step 2 is vector indexing. That raw, unstructured text is immediately tokenized and indexed into the vector store Face or Chroma, which you've preloaded with a corpus of verified official regulatory documents and standard clauses.
So the agent now has this internal memory that's based on the document's specific context.
Precisely. And Flowise is managing this pipeline, ensuring the indexing is complete before it moves on. Step 3 is the query. ChatGPT receives the entire document text and specific analytical instructions, like verify this document against standard liability clauses.
And then it queries the vector store.
Yes, it queries the vector store, pulling the most relevant clauses from the official corpus you loaded earlier. Step 4 is the analysis. ChatGPT analyzes the document's grounded context against the official context, looking specifically for red flags. Missing clauses, unauthorized alterations to standard text, or even internal logical contradictions within the document itself.
And the output is a verified compliance report.
A highly verified, structured compliance report that highlights potential errors or risks. And, critically, the data flow is clean. The reasoning is proprietary, but the sensitive document data can be indexed and stored locally if you need, which adheres to those Model 5 principles we talked about.
Recipe 2 is the AI education system. This one blends administrative organization with creative asset generation.
Yes, this system addresses the entire pedagogical workflow. It's about maximizing a teacher's efficiency. The tools involved are ChatGPT for planning, Canva for the visual appeal, Notion for centralized organization, and Whisper for that initial idea capture.
So what's the input that kicks this whole system off?
It starts with the most ephemeral input imaginable, the teacher's thoughts. A simple, rough voice note from a teacher detailing the topics, learning goals, and core ideas for the next lesson. Step 1. Whisper transcribes that voice note rapidly.
Okay.
Step 2. Lesson structuring. ChatGPT takes that transcript and, based on instructions like create a 4-part lesson plan for 10th grade history, include objectives, activities, and an assessment, it creates a formal plan and generates the worksheet text.
So we've generated the text, now for the visuals.
Right. Step 3, visual design. Canva handles the creative output. ChatGPT feeds Canva structured instructions for all the visual assets, diagrams, attractive titles, worksheet layouts, and it turns that generated text into appealing, production-ready teaching materials.
And then it all gets organized.
Step 4, organization. Notion serves as the central hub. The system automatically updates the specific class folder in Notion with the final lesson plan and the worksheet. This ensures the AI moves that lesson from just a rough idea into a fully structured, designed, and organized educational asset instantly available to the whole teaching team.
Our third recipe is the business intelligence agent. This moves into real-time data analysis and strategic reporting.
This agent integrates real-world data feeds, institutional memory, and automation. The tools are varied. Web browsing or a Python script for data gathering, a Notion database for institutional memory, Zapier for high-speed delivery, and the ChatGPT API for the core synthesis.
How does this hybrid system gather that real-time intelligence?
Step 1 is data gathering. It uses either the LLM's built-in web browsing capabilities or a custom Python tool that's a Model 3 API integration to gather real-time market trends, competitor activity, or industry news from specific sources you've defined.
Then it needs context.
Exactly. Step 2 is institutional context. That raw market data is combined with the contents of your Notion database, maybe internal sales figures or historical roadmaps to provide the full picture. Step 3, core synthesis. This combined data package is sent via API to ChatGPT. Its core task is to perform high-level strategic analysis, identifying emerging trends, predicting competitor moves, or even performing an automated SWOT analysis.
And the final action is automated delivery of that analysis.
Yes. Step 4, automation and delivery. Zapier takes the resulting high-level summary and its associated structured data points like risk level, high, or key recommendation, diversify supplier base, and formats it into a clear, concise weekly summary or an urgent alert. That automated report is then distributed directly to the executive team via email or Slack.
Ensuring continuous strategic planning without constant manual oversight.
That's the goal.
The final recipe is perhaps the most advanced. The content creator agent, which covers multimodal output text, images, and video.
This system really demonstrates the maximal hybridization possible. It covers the entire content lifecycle. It uses Pika Labs for video generation, Canva or Playground AI for graphics and images, and of course ChatGPT for the scripts and the overall system orchestration.
Okay, let's detail the tricky part here. Coordinating all those multimodal assets.
Step 1 is script writing and orchestration. ChatGPT writes the core video script, optimizing it for the target platform. like a short-form vertical video for TikTok. But crucially, the LLM also writes detailed temporal instructions and image prompts for the visual tools, specifying exactly where scene changes should occur and what the visual focus needs to be at that moment.
So it's storyboarding with prompts.
It's exactly that. Step 2. Static visuals. Canva or Playground AI handle the creation of the required graphic assets or still images based on those structured prompts. Step 3 is video generation. Pika Labs, often integrated programmatically, takes the script and the sequence of visual prompts to generate the actual video content. It handles the motion and sequencing based on ChatGPT's original instructions.
And the distribution element.
Step 4. Cleanup and distribution. Once the video is generated, ChatGPT handles the final touches. It writes the necessary SEO descriptions, titles, and platform-specific tags to ensure maximum reach. The final step is an automated publishing action, usually managed by Zapier or Make, to distribute the finished content immediately to YouTube, TikTok, or a website.
It's a completely automated content assembly line, managed end-to-end.
That's the vision.
That detailed roadmap takes us from a rough idea to a fully launched multimodal asset. But with this level of power and integration, we have to talk about the guardrails. Using 5 or 6 free tools together introduces a lot of complexity and risk. We need the essential safety checklist.
That responsibility is completely non-negotiable. As the sophistication of the hybrid agent increases, so does the risk associated with data handling and automation errors.
The first rule is simple, but so often overlooked. Keep data flow clear.
This is the firewall principle. The crucial warning here is that you must never mix personal identity data or financial documents or confidential legal files across tools unless you have independently verified that every single tool in that chain explicitly supports secure handling protocols that meet compliance standards like HIPAA or GDPR.
So if you're using free tools where the security is unclear,
then sensitive data must be completely segregated and processed locally. End of story. Data flow clarity is your first line of defense against accidental exposure across potentially insecure third-party services.
Okay, the second practice relates directly back to architectural efficiency. Use structured outputs for tool handoff.
This improves reliability exponentially. If you want your agent to scale and communicate reliably between all its components, say from ChatGPT to Zapier, you have to abandon free-flowing narrative. To ensure tool compatibility, you have to instruct ChatGPT to output in highly structured, machine-readable formats. JSON, XML, standardized tables, or ready-to-paste code blocks.
Why is a structured format like JSON so critical for that handoff?
Because a downstream system, like a Python script or a Zapier formatter, can ingest a JSON object and reliably access guaranteed key value pairs. It can pull the value associated with the key risk assessment consistently thousands of times. Trying to parse a flowery essay or a paragraph of natural language for that same information is just inherently brittle. It leads to constant automation failures when the tone or wording slightly changes.
The third point is the key compliance defense. Use local tools for sensitive work.
This reinforces Model 5. For handling extremely sensitive, proprietary, or regulated data, medical records, trade secrets, government forms, you must default to local zero-trust solutions. This means using a Llama or LM Studio to host the actual processing model offline, ensuring the data never leaves your controlled server environment.
And same goes for the R component.
Absolutely. Using FaceFast for local search and vector storage ensures that your proprietary data remains entirely within your infrastructure. It maximizes privacy and provides that necessary security layer for any high-stakes work.
And finally, the cautionary tale for the impatient among us. Automate only when confident.
The speed of automation, particularly with tools like Zapier or Make, can rapidly escalate a small error into a total disaster. Before you connect any high-speed automation, you must perform exhaustive manual testing and validation. Test every potential step, especially the conditional branches and error handling.
You have to confirm all the safety rules are in place.
You do. An agent that's misconfigured to send an internal report containing client data to an external email list, or one that generates incorrect financial data at scale, that's a rapid, costly disaster. Confidence, achieved through validated slow testing, is the absolute prerequisite for any high-speed deployment.
So what does this all mean? We started by asking how to make ChatGPT truly unmatched. And what we've detailed today is really the complete roadmap for building sophisticated, full-stack AI systems using accessible and often totally free components.
Absolutely. The key takeaway is that integration is what makes ChatGPT powerful, incredibly cost-effective, and highly scalable. By leveraging this vast ecosystem of specialized free tools, Whisper for audio, Thais for memory, Zapier for action, for self for deployment, you gain the resources to build complex domain-specific systems that just a year or two ago would have required massive bespoke engineering teams.
So you now have the architectural models and the practical recipes to move from theory to implementation.
You do.
We've covered how to architect, implement, and secure these diverse, high-value systems. Legal agents that verify compliance, business agents that generate strategic roadmaps from real-time data, and creative pipelines that go from a script to a finished video. The complexity barrier has been fundamentally lowered.
And this leads us to the final provocative thought for you, the builder. The true innovation here isn't just building an agent, it's mastering the strategic tool selection. The hybrid model presents a fundamental trade-off. You have the raw speed and infinite accessibility of a highly connected cloud platform on one hand, and on the other, you have the absolute auditable privacy and localized control offered by tools like Ollama and Face. You have to be the one to strategically decide where your data lives and where your execution happens.
So the question for you to explore is this. Knowing you can now build systems that use the best of both worlds, cloud speed for public data and local privacy for sensitive data, how does that strategic choice fundamentally change what you dare to automate and what you choose to build next in your professional life, especially when you're handling data for other people?